Hey everybody, welcome to the fourth and final installment of our 4-part series about how we go into reaction in our relationships out there and what we can do about it. In this video, right, you're gonna find out how to move from the victim, martyr, villain roles and to do something different. If you haven't viewed those first 3 videos, make sure you go back and view those. There's so much valuable information in there. In the first video, we talked about how one of the roles we play when we go into reaction is that role of victim. How we want the other person to feel sorry for us. We want them to see that we're hurting or upset or disappointed or whatever, so that they will fix it for us. They'll change, they'll stop doing what they're doing, right? And they'll give to us in certain ways. Then in the second video, we looked at how we fall into that role of martyr. Whereas with victim, I wanted to know I was upset. With the martyr, in the martyr role, I don't want you to think anything's wrong. So I'll be the overachiever, over-exceller, I'll be the best in order to get your approval, or I'll be the person that doesn't upset the apple cart. And so I won't bring up difficult topics, won't hold you accountable, sweep things under the carpet, right? Don't want to create conflict in any way, so I'll pretend like everything's fine. Right? Now in the third video, we talked about the third role that we play, and that's the role of villain. Now we can only do victim and martyr for so long and before we feel pretty pissed off, right? Before we feel used, taken advantage of. And so we'll move into that role of villain, and then we try and punish the other person or take out our frustrations on them. In many ways. Some of us are very overt in those actions with our yelling or our criticizing or putting people down. Others of us are more sort of passive aggressive about it, like using the silent treatment and withholding and withdrawing and those sorts of behaviors. So in those first 3 videos, we really learned that those ways of handling our upset and frustration are not effective. They don't bring us what it is that we ultimately want. They certainly don't have us feeling good about ourselves, and they don't bring us the closeness that we're ultimately wanting in those relationships. Did you ever notice how you can go through all 3 roles, victim, martyr, villain, in the blink of an eye before you even realize it? Yeah, I'll give you an example of that from my life. So at one point in my life, I was in a relationship and things weren't going so well, right? We were way out of that honeymoon stage, right? I was getting triggered left and right, right? So I wasn't, and not handling it effectively, I wasn't very happy in the relationship, but being the good martyr that I am, I decided that I just needed to do something to fix the relationship. Right? So I decided that, you know what we really need? We need a getaway weekend. We need to go someplace, rekindle, have wonderful conversations, get back on track with one another. So in my mind, I planned this whole elaborate camping trip. I love camping. That's really fun and exciting and intimate and romantic to me. And so I planned this whole elaborate camping trip. In my mind, it was going to be up in Wisconsin, like a 3-hour drive, right? Great conversation on the car ride up there. You know, amazing, wild, intimate sex in the tent, right? Have this just incredible time. Conversations by the campfire. It was going to be this awesome time. So, like a good martyr, I present the idea to him. Now, am I willing to talk about how I am really feeling unhappy and disconnected and like the relationship is not working? No, right? So I just say, hey honey, let's go away this weekend. You've been really tired. You've been working hard. Let's go camping. Let's go camping. He goes, camping? Gotta tell you, Amanda, that doesn't sound really like fun or relaxing or exciting to me. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Feeling like the victim. See, he doesn't even want to work on this relationship. He doesn't even care. Right? But quickly resorting back to martyr, I just decided I need to convince him. I'm like, you know what, sweetheart? You won't have to worry about anything. I'll get all the groceries. I'll get the tent. Right? He goes, well, I'm going to be working the whole night before, that whole day before. I said, no problem. I'll even drive us there. He goes, well, what about the dogs? We had 2 dogs. What about the dogs? I said, no big deal, right? We'll just I'll pack them in the car. We'll take them with. Well, finally, reluctantly, you know, how could he resist? How could he resist? Because I was so stubborn, right? How could he resist? So he agreed. Well, the day of the camping trip arrived, I'm running around like a mad woman, getting all his favorite snacks, all the perfect groceries, right? Pack up the car, get the dogs in the car. I'm gonna drive downtown and pick them up at work, and it's gonna be like a 3-hour drive out into the country. We're gonna have this great rekindling conversation, right? So I drive downtown, pick him up at work, we hit the highway, and in 2 seconds, he's dead asleep in the passenger side. I'm pissed. You know, I'm pissed. After all I've done, after all the work I put into this, see, he doesn't even want to work on this relationship. He doesn't even care about me, right? There go the assumptions, like that good role of victim, martyr, and villain. There go my assumptions, right? So I said, you know what? You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to drive us. So I drive and being pissed off. Right, torrential rainstorm happens. It's supposed to take 3 hours. It takes 6 hours of driving. Dogs are going nuts in the back seat. He's just sawing logs over on the passenger side. Right, we finally arrive at the campsite. I am fuming. Now, being the perfect martyr, do you think I'm really willing to tell him how I really feel inside? No. Just walk around the campsite with a smile on my face. What a great campsite. No, the bugs aren't too bad. Sure, the dogs can sleep in the tent with us, right? No, it's not too, rocky over here on my side, right? So, we get it. Besides, I don't want to talk about what's really going on. I want to talk about what's really going on because I'm going to screw up the whole night if that happens, right? And we're just about to climb in the tent and have this wild, amazing night, right? I don't mess that up. So into the tent we go. Right? And out of the blue, he says, well, what time do you want to wake up tomorrow, honey? And like a good martyr, I say, whatever you want, whatever we wake up is fine. Now, I had an idea, 8 a.m. because I had this perfect breakfast plan, but I don't want to go there. I want to mess up his great nights. So into the tent we go, we get in our sleeping bags. 2 seconds later, he's asleep again. And I've had it. Right? I am done. I decide, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I grab the sleeping bag, I turn over, and I say, you know what, buddy? You get my back all night. Like he even knew. So I drift off to sleep. Next morning, wake up, 8 a.m. Bing. Now he's still sleeping, so, I'll just let him sleep. He's tired. Being the good martyr, I'll let him sleep. He's tired. So I get out of the tent, get myself dressed and ready or whatever. 9 a.m., he's still sleeping. But I don't want to jump to any conclusions, I'm sure he's just exhausted. I'll let him be, right? 10 a.m. rolls around, right? So I start to do things in which to wake his ass up because he is ruining this trip. So I send the dogs into the tent, banging pots and pans out by the campfire, start the car up. Right, finally, 11 a.m., he comes walking out of the tent, and he goes, you know what, honey, I don't know how long you've been up, but I don't feel well. I don't feel good, so why don't you just go on to breakfast without me? Go to breakfast without you? My head starts spinning like The Exorcist, right? I said, this is a perfect example of how you never keep your word with me. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, we discussed getting up at 8 a.m. He goes, you never even talked about that, Amanda. I said, this is a perfect example of how you never listen to me, and just for that, I'm out of here. And I storm off in the car, and I go to breakfast, tears streaming down my face, right, feeling alone. So all I wanted was this rekindling close weekend, and here I am feeling frustrated, alone, sad. Right now, luckily I had started to do this work on me. And so as I sat there at breakfast, I started to recognize this isn't the first time I felt like this in this relationship. As a matter of fact, I looked back over many relationships and saw how this is not the first time I have felt this way in every single relationship that I was ever in. And so I decided in that moment, luckily due to this education, I decided in that moment to do something different. And I decided that, you know what, if I want something to be different, if I ever want a relationship that works, I sure as heck better do something different here. So, as hard as it was, got back in my car. I drove what seemed 50 miles back to the campsite. It was probably a half mile, seemed like forever. Back to the campsite. I got out of the car, walked up to him, and I said, you know what? When you don't just automatically give to me what I'm expecting, I take it to mean you don't love me. Take it to mean you don't even want this relationship to work. And so how I've been treating you is, for starters, I've been making one-sided agreements, meaning I'm clear what it means in my mind, but I'm not communicating that to you. I'm not telling you what it is that I most want and need, right? Or what it is, that I'd like to do. I'm not even sharing that with you. I'm expecting you to just read my mind. And then I get pissed at you when you don't automatically do it. And so I've been blaming you for the relationship not working. And I'm really sorry for doing that. So what I most want with you is to be best friends like we were in the beginning of our relationship, and have complete open communication and honesty with each other. And so what I'm committed to doing is speaking up to you more of the time, letting you know what I want and need, not just expecting you to read my mind. He goes, who are you and what have you done with my girlfriend? It was so out of the ordinary. So it was so just completely different way of being than I had been used to with him. In our basic seminars, a great way to come and learn these tools. You'll be given actual formulas about how to communicate like a leader. You'll have the chance to practice those tools and get really proficient at those tools before leaving the seminar, so you're ready to take those sorts of actions in your life. So we hope this series was useful. We hope that you took these tools and you take these tools and you learn how to put them into action in your life, and again, using them for you, not as a weapon towards others, right? But using these as a tools for how you can be more effective in your relationships and closer and more connected and create more of what it is that you want. So click below and register for our Discover Your Dreams workshop, which is an hour-long live event where you can actually explore some of this a little bit more. It's free. And enroll for our basic seminar. Enroll for an upcoming basic class. Give yourself that gift. Come learn these tools firsthand and make your life be everything that you have wanted it to be.